is up, guys? True Power Shad, also known as John here, once again today bringing you another deck pile for the Dragon Ball Super card game. For those of you who do not know, I just recently won the event that happened earlier, or the event that happened over this weekend in Australia, being the first Open or Area Championship, which is the equivalent of Australian, I think it's Regionals, which is just the state championships, being the Melbourne one. Yeah, and I was able to come first again. Fun fact, I won the Melbourne one last year as well, so technically I did a two-peat for this particular event, even though it's like slightly different branding, which is actually really cool, because that is feeds perfectly for my ego, and everyone knows I'm fairly cocky, so that's pretty fun for me. But yeah, I was able to do it, and yeah, so I've got my deck profile here. Just real quickly, I can't really take too much credit for this deck, as it wasn't really my idea. Funny story with how I came across this deck. So on work on Friday, the day before the event, I was scrolling through Facebook, and I came up, what do you want to call it? Found Marcel Russell posted a PPG Patreon exclusive post, and you know, I thought to myself, fuck it, I'll spend the $5, and sorry for my language, you know, see what it is, because it's curious, because I think the yellow BROLY lead is really good, and it was talking about the U6 package, and yeah, so I saw the deck, which is more or less what look, it's slightly different, the full deck's slightly different from here, but like I can't take credit for this at all. It's pretty much his deck, except for like ratios, more or less. I can't take any credit from this. I give full props to Marcel Russell for this idea, or his deck, because this is where I pretty much got the list from, even though more to the story there. But yeah, so you know, I spent my $5, got this list, and tested it that night, and yeah, here we go, and I won with the event. Like, testing went really well, so I was able to get a win with this deck. The deck's, yeah, the deck felt insane. Yeah, just in testing, I was able to just destroy pretty much everyone. I versed. Like, the reason why I went for this deck, I was kind of hard prepping for this event, because it felt like it's a rock, paper, scissors meta, being, in my opinion, the three best decks up until I won with this. Just more or less. Well, no, I still think three of the best decks in the format, being Janemba, Shenron, and Toa. But the thing is that Janemba has a good matchup into Toa, so it can beat that. Toa has a good matchup into Shenron, so it beats that, and then Shenron has a good matchup into Janemba. So it's like a kind of triangle in there. But the problem, if you're playing one of these rock paper scissors decks, you like more or less just auto lose to one of the matchups. So no, rock paper scissors meta, you need to play Dynamite just straight up, and this deck is my Dynamite, you know. So yeah, the deck felt insane. The thing too for me, I know I'm talking a bit more about like just my thoughts in that, but I feel like I'm not gonna talk too much about the deck. I'm just presenting it here as, you know, I won with it, and it's out there already. Like, my list is there, or the list I ran's there. So I'm just talking about more of my thoughts, like, of the meta and that, I guess. But anyway, the meta, like, those three decks, I tried playing them all, except for Toa, because I don't have the time regulators. My cousin that I share my collection with ran Toa. But I think this deck is more my playstyle, much more aggro player, and a lot of my success in the past has been with this leader. Like, just at like events in that Team Wars and stuff, I usually do insanely well with this leader. It's probably like the leader I've used close to the most. With like back when Height of Mastery it's still like played a lot. It was the Bardock one drop before it got banned. And like, the leader's just insane. I said it in an interview. This leader's probably the most broken leader in the game outside of the Wish leaders, because Wish leaders are just inherently insane with the one drop back is potentially getting aggroed out. But yeah, no, the deck overall is just ridiculously strong. You more or less just storm your opponent. And compared to the regular U6 engine, where you're only running, you're limited to the cards you run. Like in the Universe 6 engine, it's what I versed in the finals, and I had some really lucky moments in there. Like, I can't say that I completely won, like, completely 100%. Like, oh, no chance to lose. Like, I should have lost my game 2 in the finals, but my opponent had 3 extra cards in hand he couldn't combo with, and I killed him after tanking his attack by 5k. Like, stuff like that. And then I had like a dominant game 3 or stuff like that, where I got like clutched it pretty hard. So like, it's like a combination of me being like pretty insane at this game, and then also like being able to pull off like clutch factor. Like, you know, card games, you know, it's one thing to be insane, but like if you have insane like luck or clutch, whatever you want to call it, factor as well that can like push you over the edge sometimes, and it's happened to me several times just while playing this game. But this deck isn't invincible. In Swiss, I lost in 5 minutes with this deck. I versed a Vegeta baby. We call it shout out to my boy James Brewer because we have the same birthday. But he is playing Vegeta Baby, which is a hard counter to this deck because every card in this deck dies to getting negged, and there's nothing you can do about it because it's a game mechanic that removes it, not one of your opponent's skills, mainly being the Champavados. I literally lost in 5 minutes. It was probably the hardest I've been spanked since America, where I versed that guy with Shenron, who came up with the original Shenron Gogeta last year when I went overseas to there. But yeah, I actually got blasted, so it was pretty insane. But yeah, overall, the whole idea of the deck is how I played it anyway. Turn one, I would either charge a blue-yellow energy or play my one-drop Caulifla, since the Kale can't really search for anything on turn one unless you're versing Janimba and they've already started to mill you. So yeah, try and get a 5-drop. You usually want to mulligan. The 2 cards I mulligan for are my 2-drop Caulifla, because that guarantees Awakening turn 3 if you go in second. And also the Champavados as well, because that's literally what facilitates the deck. I always try to play Champavados turn 2. So yeah, that's generally what you want to do turn 1, then turn 2, obviously, like I said, Champavados. And turn 3, you can kill a lot of people turn 3. I had a lot of games. Another good thing, like today, people weren't expecting my deck. I was literally the only player running this leader in the whole, I think it was 120-something players there today. So, well, there over the weekend. And I was the only one playing this leader, so people weren't ready for it. Like, I think the best thing was, like, every game one, I would joke with the guy, pretty much everyone I versed, who was like, oh, you're playing BROLY Harder Mastery. I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm still playing it, you know? And then they saw my turn one. Yeah, I'm actually running Universe 6, and like, what the hell? Because I mulligan for Harder Mastery, so I cheesed people. So, oh, that's pretty fun. But, yeah, just the fact that this deck caught a lot of people by surprise, and I was able to take over a lot of games with it. The hardest matchups were definitely green-red, which is kind of, this deck destroys Shenron and Toa, because it's just too aggressive for them to keep up with whatever you're doing. And Janimba's a harder matchup for this deck, as Janimba's way more defensive. I was able to beat the Janimba I versed in semi-finals, though, barely, though. And that, I really had an unfortunate interaction where I swung with my leader, and he activated a Bojack Negate. He played that, so the order of sequencing is I meant to draw a card, then mill a card, but I did it the other way around, and the judge noticed it like straight away after I did it, and my opponent, I don't think my opponent really cared too much about it, but technically it was an incorrect game state, so my opponent got to look at my hand and choose a card that shuffled back into my deck. Then I milled one, and the card I originally milled got added to my hand. So not only did my opponent know every card in my hands, he returned the Cold Bloodlust, the one I was holding on since turn 1 of the game. So that was pretty feels bad. I don't know how I won that game. I was pretty tilted as well. So I was pretty lucky I was able to clutch it out there. Thank you, Tim. But yeah, so that was just one thing that happened. But yeah, no, this deck felt really strong. Just being able to being unlimited, I guess, from not being able to run the Universe 6. Being able to run other cards outside of Universe 6, the main 2 cards being Mirror and Champa, because it just gives you another end game. So like you can push harder, leader untap something like Mirror late game when they're tapped out, and you declare swing with Mirror when they're like at 3 or 2 life when they were tapped out because you force tap them out. There's little to no counterplay of what they can do. They just lose the game straight up. It's awesome. I can't complain. And yeah, that's pretty much it about it. Real quick, the sideboard's more of my stuff. I can tell you right now, the only thing I changed is that the original Marcel Russell list ran 3 Vegeta Carbas. I only played that card once, and it baited me into a Kami because it including itself, I summoned another body on the board with its effect, and then my opponent just come into my board. That was upsetting. But yeah, I took out that one of those for the Caulifla Troublemaker Universe 6. That card's too good. Like, being able to just take a life and tap one of your opponent's energy, it's doing 2 things that you want at once. It's insane. But the sideboard's more of my stuff. I think one of the bigger things I have in the sideboard, things I'll take out, Vegeta striving to be the best unexpected turn don't really work with this deck too much. Vegeta I can see, I didn't really like it. I ran into one matchup where they were running Deadly Defenders, but I didn't really come up too much. But unexpected turn as well. We really just want to use our energy aggressively, so having to slow down like that. Yeah, I think it's also because I'm inexperienced with the card. I've used it a few times, but I in the mirror I didn't actually start it in. I just put in Dark Power Marseille, since that stops the KO play completely and the planet's a dollar play. Tian's pretty much an auto win into blue because you're already tapping their energy and they can't untap anything with the bean, so that's pretty good. Motaito is pretty good versus Shenjita or any deck that drops bombs like that, just because it's 5k combo and it just taps one of the bombs. Frostily Poison is just essentially more copies of Bloodlust, but it didn't really come up too much because you usually just kill them before they do anything. But like Freezer Prison would be AIDS. And then the last thing, My Own Spice. This Bojack actually made me qualify for top 8. So what ended up happening, my top 8 match, my quarterfinal match was by far, well, excluding the game I got completely destroyed by Vegeta Baby and Swiss. That was my hardest matchup of the day. Because Red Green's really hard, but Green leaders don't completely shut me out of the deck. Like I was able to beat a Clash of Fates leader in the first round fairly convincingly. Even just playing around Preemptive Strike's not too bad, but the fact that the red cards can kill all my things just constantly by minusing them to game mechanics is very rough on my mental, you know? It's too hard to build a board, and they're just constantly deploying just powerful cards, with the rival mainly being the Gogeta, and this guy, his deck was actually insane. Red, green, Gogeta BR, like using that draw engine to get cards, and then being able to use the effect to ignore counter play card, 2-drop counter cards, which is pretty much every counter play in the format. And then on top of that, Arrival's insane with he ran the 5-drop red green Gogeta BR, and also the started a Kaioken Goku 4-drop. So what my Bojack did in that matchup is that I saw he charged it turn 1, and literally in game 1, sorry, and literally I'm flicking through my sideboard. One of the first thoughts that went through my head, I literally said, there's a quote of me on stream saying, how the F do I win this? Because I thought I was going to get 2-0'd. Just straight up. I don't know how I won. I just don't. My clutch factor, you know, I was talking about before. But, yeah, so I looked at this and I thought about it and I was like, all right, I'm just going to put this in, whatever happens, happens. You know, I don't know how I win this. I'll just try this, whatever, who cares? So on my opponent's last turn of the game before he passed it off to me, he swung with, I can't remember what he swung with exactly, but then he arrivaled his Kaioken Goku into play. And the thing with that card, it gets double strike and dual attack if you use its active main. So what I ended up doing, I ended up arrivaling my Bojack and tapping it, putting it in rest mode to get the draw card, and I'm pretty sure if I didn't do that, I was going to lose that turn. So that was pretty clutch. Even though he ended up just playing the 20k free Piccolo and just nuked my Bojack, but like, it was actually insanely clutch, that one interaction. And then I ended up taking game 2 because it went on for a while and I just ended up getting a double strike swing in, which is good. But yeah, but that's the Bojack. The Bojack, look, that's just, I just want to, you have access to it, you know. It did win me that one game, so I'm happy I saw it last night and you know, won with it. So yeah, other than that, I got interviewed by the Cyberman on his YouTube channel. Whenever that goes up, if I remember, I'll put the link in the description. I'll also link the original post again. Like, I can't take the sideboard. The Bojacks I take credit for. That was my idea. The Power Mustang also take credit for, and like the other bits and stuff was like that's no brainer stuff. But like the main board, the whole concept, I have to give like huge props to PPG's Marcel Russell. Like I wasn't planning to play this. It was literally off a whim that I decided to spend $5 on Patreon to you know, look at this and you know, play the game. So yeah, just huge shout outs, and I'd recommend if you want, check it out. Like again, I feel it's a bit awkward because this isn't like, this is the deck I ran, but it's not really. It's just more or less just Marcel Russell's work. And my friend Anthony's work, he showed me the original list he sent to Marcel Russell, so that's pretty funny. That he showed me that inside scoop. That was pretty cool. But yeah, Anthony Hain. But yeah, also thanks to I'll just do some shout outs here. Thanks to TAC for hosting the event. It was a pretty good event again. You know, it's easy for me to say that since though I won the this event twice. You know, back to back. I wish there was a trophy for this event, but it's okay. But yeah, it was pretty epic. I can win this again. Shout out to the Cardtastic boys. Special thanks to Benny, Kevin, and Jun for letting me borrow their brilliant pairing Keflers because I don't own any. And yeah, just thanks for everyone who believed in the two-peat, the back-to-back wins, and yeah. With regards to going to America, Australia, the only way for us players in Australia to qualify to the main event in America Worlds is to go over and play in the last chance qualifiers. So I'm not entirely sure if I will go over and do that. As you know, fun fact, I say this every time it comes up, it costs money to go to America, and some people, you know, it's hard sometimes to afford this kind of stuff. And plus, the fact it's also not, I might go there and I might just shit the bed in the qualifiers and just not make it. That is feels bad. But yeah, I can't really say anything else. Just yeah, special thanks to like just whoever I shouted out in this video, and I think that's it. There's nothing else really to say. But yeah, I really hope you guys just, you know, enjoyed my insight. I know I didn't really talk specifically about the main board of the deck, as again, I you know, Marcel Russell, thank you. But that's pretty much it. But yeah, that's it, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed me just telling you some fun stories, and I'll see you all next time. This is the boy, the 2-time Melbourne regional champion, John True Pyro Shad, signing out. Peace.